Good afternoon, officer. Could you state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Officer Andrew Cummings, Andrell, Cummings, Cummings.
And where are you employed currently?
With Knoxville Police Department.
How long have you been employed there?
It was 7 years last month.
And what's your position at the Knoxville Police Department?
Right now I'm assigned to West Alpha Patrol.
Okay. What does patrol do?
Patrol mainly answers calls for service. We do answer car wrecks, anything. Anytime somebody calls 911 and an officer is needed out, regular patrol would come out. And then we would deem if anybody else needs to come out, any special teams, search and rescue, detectives, or anything like that.
Okay. Prior to being an officer of the Knoxville Police Department, where were you employed?
I was employed with the Rural Metro Fire Department for about 12 years.
Can you walk me through some of the training you received to be a Rural Metro Fire Department?
I don't know exactly how long our fire training was, but we say somewhere between 5 and 6 months. And then shortly after that, I got my EMT IV license through the state of Tennessee.
Okay. So you are trained in, attending to people who have been injured?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Rural Metro.
Pause right here for a second. This is a critical moment in the testimony. The officer isn't responding to just any call. Shots fired into a residence immediately escalates this situation to a potentially life-threatening emergency. In legal terms, this kind of call puts officers on high alert because they're walking into an unknown and possibly active crime scene. Now think about it. If you were the first officer arriving and you don't know if the shooter is still nearby, how cautious would you be approaching that house?
They took, I always tell everybody there's different type of calls, priority 1s, priority 2s, and priority 3s. Rural Metro Fire, the services Knox County, we took everything. So if you were having trouble breathing or somebody was seriously injured in a car wreck, we would come. And then also if, lack of a better term, if grandma or grandpa fell on the floor, then we would be there for a lift assist.
Mr. Cummings, can you speak up, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
I want to direct your attention to September the 14th, 2019. Did you have an occasion to respond to a 502 Balsam?
Yes, sir, I did.
And is that in Knox County?
It's Knoxville, Knox County. Yes, sir.
Tell me about that call.
Again, at the time, I was assigned to routine patrol in the North Knoxville area. We got a call I was dispatched to a call of shots fired into a residence. I wasn't really that far away. I think I was on Broadway, just north of Cedar Avenue.
Okay. How long did it take you to get to that address?
If I had to guess, I don't know off time, I'd probably say a minute to maybe 2.5 minutes, maybe less.
When you arrive on scene, describe the jury what it was like.
So pulled up on scene. I arrived very slowly to make sure, again, to see what I'm walking into. Again, shots fired. Didn't know if suspect was still on scene or anything like that. So arrived, pulled up slowly to the house, tried to get a good survey of the scene, see if I saw anybody, any suspects, any cars fleeing, somebody running, or anything. Initially, what I saw was a young male, young child, I should say, at the screen door of the home, and his hands were placed up against the glass, and he was just kind of smiling, looking at the lights. So, of course, I have my gun drawn, and I'm just trying to, again, protect myself, protect anybody else, because, again, I don't know what I'm walking into. So I get to the door, and I remember walking to the door. The young man took off into the home, started crying, and I see a young lady sitting on the couch inside the home. Would you like me to describe the home from what I remember?
Yeah, if you could.
So when you open the door, it was I'm gonna call it maybe like a living room. I'll call it living room number 1. Very wide open space, saw a couch, TV, and then as you walked in a little bit further, there was, I think I remembered a arch over walk through area, and it kind of went to what I call living room number 2. And in that living room number 2 is where I saw a young lady who we found to be my complainant, or our complainant, sitting. Please continue, officer. No problem. I saw a young lady who we found later to be our complainant sitting on the couch, and later noticed that it seemed that she was on her phone, or had her phone up to her ear. And I walked in. I think I maybe just kind of cracked the door, and I said, "Did you call 911?" And she was like, "Yeah," kind of waved me in. And I kind of walked in. I go, "Is anybody hurt?" And she just kind of points to behind her. And that's when I saw So when I saw a foot of a young child just over the armrest of the couch. And at that point, I just holstered up, grabbed her, and ran outside. And as I'm walking outside, I am assessing her for injuries. I noticed a defect to her hand. I can't remember if I saw a defect to her arm, or I say a better choice of words is a hand wound or an arm wound. I know I saw a hand wound, and I can't remember if she had on a dress or a shirt, but I remember looking up under her shirt or whatever she had on, and I saw a chest wound. So at that time, I immediately got on the radio and told them and said, "Hey, we have a victim, and you just go ahead and send everybody in." With that type of a call, KFD, or Knoxville Fire Department, is automatically dispatched along with EMS or AMR, Rural Metro. I don't know. I went to the back of my car and just kind of again assessed her again, checked her all over so I could give a good report to the EMS and fire crew that was arriving.
Maybe we have the screen. And Officer Cummings, do you recognize that picture right there?
I do, sir.
Can you tell the jury what that is?
That would be the I don't know the correct address, but that would be the house that I responded to that night.
Okay. And do you recognize this?
From that angle, it looks like it could be the couch that I saw our complainant sitting on, but I'm not really too sure because I'd have to. I don't remember going that far into the house and seeing it, but I think that is the couch.
Okay. Tell us about Miss Howington's demeanor when you encountered her.
One of the things I'll always remember that sticks with me is just how quiet it was. I've run thousands of calls with Rural Metro as an EMT and as a police officer here with Knoxville. I've seen some things and I've done some things. And I've run calls where everyday people who just witnessed something who are hysterical, rightfully so, I understand. But this particular scene, or upon my arrival, it was just very quiet. I didn't have anybody yelling. I didn't hear anybody screaming. I didn't have anybody, trying to grab me and, yank me in and point me out. Hey, this is what's going on. This is what happened. This is what's hurt. It was just very, very quiet. Sometimes we joke and laugh and we say we always have a Richard Simmons on scene because there's always somebody doing the jumping jacks when you arrive somewhere. There was just nobody there. It was just so quiet. Is what really got me. And like I said, Miss Town was just kind of sitting there on the phone, and I remember asking her. I said, "Hey, do you need somebody? Is there somebody we can call for you?" And she was like, "No, they're on the phone. They're on the way. They're just a little bit lost." And I remember saying, "Oh, do you want me to ask? You want me to give them direction?" She was like, "No, they'll be fine." And that was just it was just very calm demeanor.
I want to show you what's been marked for identification as number 4. Tell me if you recognize that individual.
I do.
Who is that individual?
This is a victim from that night. I don't know her last name, but I know her name was Destiny. But this is Destiny.
And that's the girl you encountered that evening?
Yes, sir.
You know how these marked in as 4?
That be marked and filed as number 4.
After you leave the house with Destiny, what do you do?
I went to the, like I said, I immediately got on the radio call for KFD and AMR, tell them that the scene was okay for them to enter. I put her on the back of my trunk, or the back of my car, back of my cruiser, and like I said, I'm just trying to assess her for injuries. So I can give a good report. And also, I'm checking for, again, what's called ABCs, airway, breathing, and circulation. I did not feel a pulse. She was not breathing. And so...
This is hard testimony, but if he could, I'm losing it.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah.
I apologize. Like I said, I assessed her again so I can give a good report to the EMS personnel that was arriving on scene. And like I said, I checked for ABCs, airway, breathing, and circulation. She did not have a heartbeat, and she was not breathing at the time. I never touched it. I promise you, Your Honor, I never touched it. Oh, there it is. There it is.
Much better.
Sorry about that. I did. Don't tell my mom.
So, once EMTs come and they take Destiny, what do you do next?
If I remember correctly, kind of passed off some information to my supervisors and other officers who were remaining on scene, and we formulated a plan that we're going to go down, head, I think it would have been westbound on the road, and to see if we could locate any type of security camera footage. Would it be cameras on the home or any type of Ring doorbell cameras?
Were you able to find any?
We did locate. I remember 3. two of the residents said that their ring doorbell cameras weren't working, but the next door neighbor's camera, he had a security camera over his door that faced the residents.
And did you, excuse me, did you review that footage?
We did. He was able to pull that footage up and watch it.
Notice something chilling about this description. The officer walks in expecting chaos, but instead he finds silence. In many emergency calls, especially shootings, people are screaming, panicking, pointing, begging for help. But here, he repeatedly says the scene was very quiet. That detail becomes extremely important later in the trial because a defense will question whether the mother's calm demeanor means something suspicious or whether people simply react to trauma differently. So let me ask you, do you think someone staying calm in a crisis is unusual or just human shock?
Footage we saw, and I'm going to speak from the standpoint of as if the house is behind me. Looking at that footage, and again, the camera footage is coming, if the house is behind me, the camera is to the left of the residence. So at one point we saw a car pull in and basically park parallel to the road, almost, if you want to say, in the yard of that residence, with its back towards the camera. And then another vehicle pulled in parallel to the road, almost facing in front of the residence on the opposite side. So they're basically parked like this. Again, if my back's to the house, the two cars are parked like this. This car came in first, this car came in second. And it looked as if two individuals and like two kids went into the house. I'm not too sure how much time passes, but then you see an individual come out and get in vehicle number one and leave. I say a few seconds or so, I can't be sure of the exact time, a few seconds or so after that, you see somebody come out of the house, hop into vehicle number two, move vehicle number two and put it in the spot where vehicle number one was parked. And then that person gets out of the car and goes back in the house. Sometime after that, again, I don't know exact time. I don't think it was very long. Somebody comes out of the house, and you can see that they came to, which again, the house is behind me. They come to the left side of the house, kind of like in the yard area, and then they go back in the house. And then sometime after that is when the 911 call was made.
Did you have an occasion to go look on the side of that house that night?
We did. So a couple of us got together and decided to go search that, again, we'll say the left side of that, the house in that yard. And there on that side, under a bush, we found a firearm.
Back in 2019, can you explain to me your setup in terms of whether or not you were having in-cruiser cameras or body cameras or both?
I know at that time I had not been issued I did not have a body cam. I don't know if we were transitioning, trying to get body cams, or if we were trying them out or not. But at that time, all I had was an in-car camera and what we call a belt mic. So you can hear what I'm saying, but you can't see exactly what's going on or what I'm talking, or you can't see what's going on with me or who I'm talking to or anything like that. But you can hear me talk as long as I am, we say, in line with the vehicle.
Was your in-cruiser video system operating that evening?
Yes, sir.
Have you had an opportunity to review that footage?
I have.
Does it fairly and accurately reflect that evening?
Yes, sir.
Again, Judge, we're not contesting the authenticity of it.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, we'd like to move in to clips from the cruiser camera and publish those to the jury? It is, Your Honor.
Was it police at 5?
Yes, sir.
Okay, number 5.
Officer Cummings, what are we looking at here?
I believe this is my in-car camera from that night. You're looking at, I believe it's going to be Balsam Drive, and I'm facing what would be westbound.
What did she say on that?
I believe we were trying to get a suspect vehicle description, and she's told us it was a black Chrysler 300, dark tinted windows.
Man, is this your car? Yes. Okay. Did you, I mean, just one? Okay.
Again, are we still sitting in front of 502 or Balsam right there?
Yes, sir.
And what does she say on that video?
There, I was trying to ascertain how many shots that she may have heard that night. She tells me she only heard one shot.
And who is the female's voice we hear on that recording?
That would be Miss. She identified herself as Robin Howington that night, the mother of the victim.
You see Robin Howington in the courtroom today?
I do.
Could you point her out and describe what she's wearing?
She's sitting at the defense table. I'm gonna say black jacket, pink top.
Your Honor, may the record reflect she's identified, or he's identified.
It shall.
That's the witness, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Officer Cummings.
Afternoon, sir.
You okay up there?
I'm doing okay. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sure. Let me ask you this. Before arriving at that house sometime around 8:56, I think, on the 14th of September 2019, how much did you know about Robin Howington?
I think I had one prior interactions with her. I do believe, if I'm correct, I believe it was one prior interaction.
And did you know that she was under doctor's care for PTSD?
No, sir. That would there was never an interaction I had with her that I would need to ask that information.
Okay. You've described that when you got there, she was very quiet.
Correct.
Would it surprise you to know that's something that folks who suffer from PTSD seek, is the quiet?
I would have to take your word for it. I really don't know,
But all you're saying is that you said you made thousands of calls, right?
correct.
And sometimes people are hysterical,
Correct.
and sometimes people are not.
That is correct.
And she fell in the spectrum of hysterical or not.
Are you asking me which one she fell?
Right.
She fell into the spectrum of not.
And that's, in your experience, not out of the ordinary to find that some people are not hysterical?
Is it out of the ordinary? Have I had people who are hysterical and people who are not hysterical? Absolutely. If you're asking what I think that is, I won't say common. For me, I would say it's more abnormal.
Of course, you'd have to know something about that individual, wouldn't you? Like that she had PTSD. That might
I
make a
would.
difference.
I guess so.
This is the emotional turning point of the entire testimony. The officer realizes the child isn't just injured, she's critically wounded. Later, he testifies that she had no breathing and no heartbeat. In court, moments like this hit hard because jurors aren't just hearing facts, they're imagining the scene. And notice how the defense later challenges the officer about CPR and response time. That's a classic courtroom strategy. Question whether anything else could have been done. But here's a question for you watching. In a chaotic emergency like this, do seconds make the difference? Or was the outcome already inevitable?
I would say, yeah, that probably add to it. Or give more insight.
And I think I could say I would thank you on behalf of myself and Ms. Howington. I think you pulled a football out of your car and a stuffed animal and gave those to Gavin when you took him next door to the neighbor's house, right?
I did.
And when you were just talking with Mr. Ammons a moment ago, he asked you about what she said on that video. I think they're just loading up Destiny in the ambulance, and someone says to her, she's okay, let them do their job, right?
I don't know what, I did hear somebody say, just let them do their job. I think he said that's what they're trained to do. I have no clue if they're loading her up at that time or not. I can't really be sure.
And what she said next was, what about him, Gavin, right?
I heard her say, what about him? But I don't know if, I don't know who she was referring to, whether it be Gavin or a suspect or anything.
Well, the suspect wasn't there, right? What was he?
I did not see a suspect at the time, no.
Gavin was there.
Gavin was there, that's correct.
And let me ask you if I got this right. You were asked about the video. You're talking about the video from the house immediately to the right of Miss Howington's house, right? If you're looking at the house.
If you're looking at the house, yes, it'd be the house to the right.
Okay, the one, and you've seen that video
Yes, sir.
with that stinking spider web that keeps bouncing around in front of the counter and the porch, right? Remember that?
I don't remember a spider web.
You say that when you see the car pull up and you see 2 adults and 2 children go into the house.
I said it appeared to me like 2 adults and 2 children do go into the home, yes.
And if I tell you that's probably just a little wrong, would that surprise you?
Yes, it would surprise you.
It would surprise you that there were not 2 adults and 2 kids coming in and out of the car.
I'd be very surprised by that.
And how many times have you watched that video since September 14th of 2019?
I couldn't tell you.
When was the last time you looked at it?
I could not tell you exactly when.
Not in preparation for trial, you didn't look at it?
No. That was, I would pretty much say that night's pretty etched in my mind.
Etched in your mind.
Correct.
But you would agree that it's possible for you to make mistakes, right?
Anything's possible, yes.
5 years later, it'd be easier to make a mistake about what you saw in a very short video on a dark night from a ring camera.
I would say on a night to where I carry a lifeless 5-year-old, it's pretty hard to not remember a lot of things.
Well, let me ask you this. I want to go back to when you first get there. You say you walk in and you're in a first living room.
That's what I call it.
And then there's another living room, another room with a couple of couches. The first one's got a couple of couches.
I believe so, yes.
And you walk back there and you see Miss Howington sitting with Destiny.
Correct.
And you see Destiny's condition and you pick her up and head out the door.
That is correct.
And you said you checked the ABCs and she had no heartbeat and no breathing.
That is correct.
And as another old emergency medical guy, can't stay alive if you got no heartbeat and no breathing in you.
That is correct.
You're probably not alive if you got no heartbeat and no breathing.
I believe they would consider you clinically dead.
There was nothing else she could do for her daughter at that moment, was there? Nothing you could do.
Are you asking me, is there anything I could do or
Right.
what?
Well, let's break it down. Bad question, I'm sorry.
No problem.
There's certainly nothing she could have done at that point with a child with no heartbeat and no breathing.
I'm going to respectfully disagree.
What would you have had her do with that child with no heartbeat and no breathing?
At least CPR.
Do you know if she ever had any training in CPR?
I have no idea.
Do you know you had lots of training in CPR, right?
I have, sir.
I have too. You can hurt somebody with CPR, can't you, if you don't know what you're doing?
This is true, yes, sir.
And if you don't do it right, it's pretty meaningless.
This is true, correct?
So, what did you do to save Destiny's life that night?
Like I said, I assessed her for injuries, make sure that I could give a clear and accurate report to what I saw and what I observed. And like I said, at the time it took me to observe her and check her for injuries, EMS was already on scene, and I passed her off.
You didn't do any CPR on her or anything?
No, sir, because again, like I said, at the time, by the time I realized that she was lifeless, EMS was already on scene, and I had passed her off.
And at that point, how long do you think you'd been on the scene?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you an exact time.
A couple of minutes?
Again, I couldn't give you an exact time.
You arrived a couple of minutes after she made the 911 call. You said a minute to 2.5.
I believe so, yes, sir.
And you were a trained EMT.
Correct.
You don't think she was, do you?
I have no idea. I never asked.
If I tell you she's not, would that surprise you?
No, I'm not. Sorry. No, I don't. No. Again, like I said, that was any interaction I ever had with Ms. Howington. That was never something I needed to ask her.
And it's not like everybody you run into is a trained EMT either, is it?
That is true.
Thank you, officer. No further questions.
Yes, sir.
You may step down, Officer Cummings. Thank you. Call your next witness.
State House Preston Tucker.